This is a hinge drill with a butt tap to the wall. So as we're learning our hinge, thinking about the difference between a hinge slash deadlift and a squat is more vertical, so more up and down. The knees stay soft, it's a knee dominant movement. A hinge is a hip dominant movement. We're thinking about more horizontal versus vertical. So we're essentially tapping the wall behind us. We think about getting length through the booty. As we start to do this, keeping the knees soft, watching we don't hyperextend them, so we keep the knees soft, and just tuning in to where you feel pressure in your feet, all the way in your toes, or your toes getting grippy, or all the way in the heels, and the toes are lifting up off the ground. So find it kind of around that center of the foot. Knees are soft, and I like to place my hands here, thumb right around the lower part of my rib cage, and index finger right around the top of my pelvis, my hip bones. So as I go back, I'm thinking about my knees soft, keeping this connection, because if I flare my rib cage or if I jump my pelvis forward, I'm gonna feel my fingers move. So as I go back, I'm thinking about sending the booty back, tapping behind me, and then I drive through my feet to stand up. So a little bit of a closer up view. As I go back, I want to think about my butt cheeks getting bigger and expanding. Like my butt is blooming into my hand like a flower. So as I go back, my butt is expanding back. My knees are staying soft. So I'm not using my upper body to round myself down. What's helping me get down and more horizontal is my butt tapping towards the wall behind me while my knees stay soft. And then I drive through my feet to stand up and bring the hips through. The knees do not lock out. So we want to think about hip extension before the knees extend. Okay, it's tricky at first. Hands on the pelvis and the hip bones. Drive the booty back. And then exhale, stand up. If you get to a point in your hinge where you go back and you feel like you can't lengthen anymore and your butt is tucked under you or you're rounding through, you've kind of reached your end point. So thinking about the sits bones staying lifted. So if I had a tail, when I'm going back in my hinge, we want to watch that we're not tucking the tail underneath us, but we're keeping that tail lifted. So as I hinge down, soften the knees, weight in the middle of my foot, booty goes back, and then drive through the feet to stand up. And that's practicing your hip hinge.